Great decorating is all about the details, including a gorgeous textured set of coasters. How we love a coaster. Functional. And why not be beautiful? Quince has a gorgeous set of woven rattan coasters in 3 terrific colors with their own little holder that you're going to absolutely love. And if you haven't visited quince.com/DTT yet, get on over there. It's everyday elevated living without the markup. From crisp 100% linen bedding and soft organic cotton towels to airy curtains and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And the best part? Like Quince's clothing, their home goods are half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. So wherever you are, you're at the gym, you're walking your dog, you're in your house, everybody sort of say out loud, what do you collect or what do you want to collect? Our decorating is classic and timeless, as is our advice. So today we're sharing a classic DTT episode from the archives with you. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Wilkness and I am here with my friend Nita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks. We're talking about collecting and we're giving you tips on how to do it right. Collecting is very different than just having a lot of extra stuff around your house that you don't really even like.
Yeah, well, I mean, collecting, that's really focusing on the things that you love, but it's not just buying something because you have a blank spot, or it's about not just buying stuff because it's the color scheme in your house or because it's on trend that year. It's about buying things that are meaningful to you. I am famous for collecting dishes. I love dishes, and I have had dishes for a long time, and probably because my biggest passion is decorating. My second biggest passion is cooking and baking. Today, we're going to be talking about just kind of how to do it without overdoing or underdoing.
Right. So wherever you are, you're at the gym, you're walking your dog, you're in your house, everybody sort of say out loud, what do you collect or what do you want to collect? As you're listening to the episode, think about what we're saying in terms of that thing, whatever that thing is. I have this thing about little white pitchers and flower frogs.
Oh, maybe I've got like 4 or 5 flower frogs, but I just kind of happened on them. I wouldn't call it a collection, but I do love those. And I love collecting antique linen napkins, bedspreads, not bedspreads, but more napkins and sheets with the monograms on them. I just adore those old monogram things.
Right. So, in terms of like the way I would say I collect, it's more, what am I really drawn to? And what is something that, from my perspective, is small enough and displays well altogether. Something that has a bigger impact when there's a multitude of them. That's kind of the way I started collecting the little white pitchers, because I have a long thin shelf that I put over those metal factory doors that are in my kitchen, and it needed something up there. But I didn't want anything that would take away from the doors. But I felt like it needed something. So white pitchers was perfect because it has a little texture. There, there's something there, but it's not jumping out at you, and it's not taking away from the doors at all. So when I had this perfect spot, my passion for these little white pitchers, I don't know what it is about them that just gets me. And also you can pick them up for $1.
So you're talking about little creamers, really.
Little creamers, or maybe I think probably the tallest one I have up there is maybe 6 inches, and I have them in different size order. And I just love the idea of them all together and all the creamy whites, and they're so pretty. But there's obviously people in the world, and I would venture to say people listening to us today, who are very serious collectors. They collect something that is of value in and of itself, and thereby having a collection of it, it is even, further increased in value. I was reading about a man
It was an auction site that I went to. I was just getting some ideas for the episode about, the psychology of collecting and things like that. And I stumbled upon this site. Well, apparently there was this man, and I guess he's very famous in the coin collecting world. He is now deceased, but he put his family in hock, and his whole life's work was to collect these coins. The story kind of goes is that he kind of dissed his family a lot because he was such an avid collector. And at the end of the day, the collection of coins that he had amassed was $345 million worth of coins.
Did he sell it or did he just
They got it. So he spent his life.
Oh, you mean, so he collected it. He didn't sell it, but then when he passed away.
But when his legacy, he left them this legacy. So I guess, the whole time, his wife is probably like, hey, he's out collecting coins, picking up dimes off the street or something. Yeah. And meanwhile, at the end of the day, although, probably rather have your dad present than, all those coins. But that's a whole different kind of collecting.
And I doubt he spent that kind of money buying all of that.
Oh, no. It was, right. It was a short article about him, but there was some Canadian penny. And I don't know why that particular, it was like from the 30s. So you're like, that's not even that old, but it went.
But if it was rare, then that's
the
what
penny itself
like.
went for like over $50,000.
Whoa.
One penny. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's not really the kind of collecting I do.
Right.
Something I'm drawn to. I like to have it where it's small enough I don't have to spend a lot of money on it. And so it's, not even like a guilt purchase. And then I like to show them en masse.
I think what makes me sad probably makes you sad too. And that is the idea. Well, when someone collects something.
Oh, don't go. No, don't do it. No, it's going to make me sad. I know. I know what you're going to say.
Collects things, wraps them up, puts them in a box, puts them in their attic, and never looks at them again. That's what makes me sad.
Okay, that would make me sad too, but that's not what I thought you were going to say.
What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say, like, when somebody spends their life collecting stuff and then nobody in their family wants it.
Oh, that happens too. But, I don't know. That doesn't seem to be as big a deal. Well,
oh my God, no.
And we dealt with that because my mother-in-law threw nothing out. So we had a collection of cards from 1953 or something.
Okay, but that's different. What I'm talking about is like when you see, like I go to so many estate sales, right? And when
I see those too.
A collection where someone has you're going into an estate sale, so you're normally going to the person's home, and you see that this person has obviously collected blank, fill it, whatever it is. And they have so many of them. And that they took time and care and they loved this. And then they're selling it in an estate sale. Actually, one day I came out of one. It was a lady. I'll never forget. It was the purple glass. So she had so much purple glass, all different little pitchers and vases and plates and blah, blah, blah. And I bought a little piece of, I don't even like purple glass. And I bought a piece of it because I just thought, oh my gosh, like everyone's passing it by at this estate sale to go.
You felt sorry for the purple.
I did. And I went in my car and I started to cry because I thought this little old lady, she spent her whole life, imagine where she went and she brought home a pair of purple glass and she was so excited about it and nobody even cares.
Well, that makes me less sad. And here's why it does. I'm just going to tell you, because if you're collecting something, you're collecting it for yourself. And then when you pass away, does it really, if you're in heaven, do you care what happens to your stuff? I don't think that I'm going to be thinking about that. Now, my mother-in-law, she was obsessed with us keeping all of her stuff, but I'm thinking, why do you even care? You're not going to need it. I'm just.
Well, no, I know. As my mother jokes about her Hummels, and because she knows.
And so,
I'm not going to want her Hummels.
I already told Evie, when I'm gone, I don't care.
Give it all to Kelly.
Yeah, give it to Kelly.
Vice versa. You can have my stuff too.
As long as I just want to make sure if she sells the stuff that she knows what the stuff is valuable and what isn't. But, but other than that, I don't really care. Because if it's going to burden her and stress her, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to keep everything, but I don't have room for it or whatever. Right.
Right.
That just doesn't mean anything. I don't care about that. So really my sadness is somebody spending all this time and effort collecting something that brings them joy, but then they're so afraid to use it, like nice dishes, that they pack it away and they don't. Or maybe they are dishes that you put in your china cabinet, but you don't actually use them. To me, if you have silver, use the silver. If you have china, use the china. If you have crystal, use it. If it breaks, it breaks, but at least you've enjoyed it. And so what if one piece breaks? You probably have a service for 12. You're probably not going to use a service for 12, but
right.
But look at what joy you could have. And that's why I have my, morning ritual of a beautiful teacup, a silver spoon, and I get out a pretty teapot and I have my tea every morning.
Well,
what's the point of having it if you're not going to use it?
Right. And one of our listeners, Nikki G, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but Nikki wrote us, and it maybe was not her collection, but it was something she inherited from her grandma. So her china collection, which was fairly vast, apparently. She was inspired by decorating tips and tricks and things we talk about. So she took it out of the box. She's moved that china collection around for 20 years, she told us. Now she's using it. She sent us pictures of it. They're using the small bowls for her ice cream with her and her kids, I believe. So, like you're saying, if it gets broken, it gets broken. But she said it's even more fun.
At least you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's even more fun to have the ice cream because it's in it. And this is just, talk about the cherry on the ice cream sundae. Nikki pulled out her grandma's vintage fur cape and used it as her tree skirt.
I love that.
Because we talked about that. And now she loves that people are commenting, whether they see the china collection or they saw the fur cape at Christmas time, and that she gets to talk to them about her grandma. How lovely is that? So, whether it's a full-fledged collection or just something you've bought tucked away in a box, bring it out, enjoy it. Why not?
Back to my experience with the collecting of dishes. When I first started, I never met a dish I didn't like. If I saw a dish at a thrift store, if it was, in my price range, which meant cheap, I would buy it. And at some point I had an embarrassing amount of dishes that I had in my house. It was too much. And it started to stress me. Where am I going to put all these? What am I going to do with them? And then I went to really the second stage of collecting, and that is the curation and the culling. And at that point I said, you know what? I don't have room for all of this. I don't want to pack it up in boxes and put it in my attic. I don't believe in that. If I'm not using it, I need to move it on to somebody else. So I gave away dishes. I sold dishes. I took stuff to the thrift store. I probably got rid of at least half of my dishes, maybe even more, maybe more like 3/4. I kept the ones that meant the most to me. My very, very favorite ones I kept. Some people thought I was going to have a hard time letting go, but I didn't, because I kept the best ones. And you know what? I think now my collection is just so much better because it's just not cluttered. Like we talked about, you don't want your closet cluttered. You don't want your collection cluttered either. You want to be curating and only keeping the most valuable, the ones that are most meaningful to you, the ones that are maybe the more unique things, and let the other ones go on to somebody else to enjoy.
I think that is so key. Even museums have collection management policies. It wouldn't be as special if they had a zillion of things and if they had ones that are inferior quality. Mm-hmm. So that's like what you're saying. You just kept the best of the best, but you curated it. And let's face it, no matter how big your house is, you only just have so much room for X collection, dishes or whatever people collect.
Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. I can't stop using dupe.com. This is an amazing website, service, best friend. I absolutely love it. So you find something that you really want and it's too expensive, it's a budget buster. Then you use dupe.com and you can find almost the exact thing or very similar products for much less. So I was crushing on this incredibly gorgeous coffee table. I had it in my mind. I had it in my Pinterest boards. I had it everywhere, but I just didn't have it in my house. Because it was too expensive. When I learned about dupe.com, that was the first product that I tested. And boy, did I find some amazing dupes. And I purchased one. So the original was almost $3,000. And Dupe showed me many choices, all the way down to under $200. Now, you may think something this extraordinary is hard to use, but it's so easy. Just type dupe.com/ before any product URL in your browser, and boom, it instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account required, no sign up required. It's completely free. That's completely free free to use. Stop wasting your money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today.
It really is fun to collect things. It can add a lot of joy to your life. I love the thrill of the hunt. Every time I look at sort of white elephant tables at a yard sale or at the Rose Bowl, if I can spy a little white creamer or pitcher, zoop, I'm right over. I just got one the other day at the thrift store when I was dropping things off.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to Round Top, there were booths, and I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, no. I don't have time to go through that, because I can tell it's like there's nothing there I want. Sure enough, she would zoom over there and she would just, like a laser focus, she would find the one thing there that was good. And I'm like, oh, well, that is pretty good.
And it's $2. Yeah.
And it's $2. I'm like,
that's
that's good.
I went clanking home from Round Top.
You did. But even, and back to the dish thing, just to use that as an example, when I culled down, or when I curated down to my favorite patterns, another thing I did was, instead of keeping a service for 12 of the ones that I liked, I just kept a few. So that's another thing you can do, is not just keep the best of the best, but say, you know what? I don't need 5 of this one particular thing. Maybe just one of this particular one in my big collection is all I need. So if you have duplicates, maybe pass those along.
Yes. And I'm harkening back. You said this, when you got to stage 2, which is this curation. And I think stage 1 is sort of the accruing, right? That's
stage 1 is like you open your mouth and you shove everything in that you can.
Right.
That's kind of like stage 1.
No, yeah. It's true. When you first start to collect something, you say, oh, I'm going to collect this. And then, you just want to keep adding. It's almost about the number.
It must be a human thing.
Yeah, I think it is. Some of the articles I was reading about the psychology of collecting. But, we love crazing and some crackling, and we love the patina on dishes and ceramics and stuff like that. Sometimes your stuff is just downright chipped and just doesn't even look good anymore. But in the beginning, you might pick up that dish, or you might pick up that white pitcher, or you might, pick up that book where the binding is really falling apart. As you get more items in your collection, then you can curate them down, and ones that are worth keeping, worth displaying. And if you are collecting something that is of value, then seeing, which are the ones that are more valuable and why are they? And then you'll be pickier or more discerning, and you'll only choose those, rather buy 1 or 2 of those than 10 of lesser value. If your intention down the line is to have a collection that is actually worth something other than just either sentimental value or for display value.
Yeah. And as you collect, I think that's what happens after you have those first initial things. You start kind of educating yourself on the thing that you're collecting. And then you think, oh, well, I have this piece, but really this other piece is even better. It's even more beautiful, or it's better thought of, or whatever. So I think the curation is the second phase. And hopefully somewhere in there, you're either displaying them. Some of these things obviously are not things you can actually use, but if you can use the things, I mean, I think that's just a great thing to do if you can. And on the linens, I do try to use those antique linen sheets and antique linen napkins and towels as much as I can. And there is a, protocol for washing them. So it can be done. And even if you had silverware, for example, I do recommend hand washing, but it's not as big a deal as you think it is. If you're putting soap in the sink and you throw it in there, just kind of a little swish in there, it doesn't usually take much to clean it.
A funny thing happens too sometimes when people know you collect things. I know I'm very particular about what I'm collecting or what I put in my house. I'm very much the person who wants to pick it out myself or be struck by it by myself. So it's kind of hard. Sure, give me a candle, thank you, or flowers. And I certainly am not saying I would turn my nose up to any gift anyone would ever give me. But if you have a collection and you've defined the scope of your collection, no matter what it is, if it's vintage postcards or, I don't know, mid-century chairs or absolutely anything you could be collecting, you're going to know what really sets your collection on fire and makes you happy, or what the whole is, which, I want, something that's taller, or I want something that has this pattern on it. Like maybe you collect transferware or something and it's a certain color. Some people find out you collect this thing and then they might gift you stuff. And that's kind of awkward sometimes because you'll get something that doesn't really work.
Well, but you know what? One time I had somebody wrote an article about me for one of the magazines, and she saw that I loved purple dishes on my blog. She sent me her set of English purple transferware dishes. A set.
Stop it.
No, it was really lovely.
Oh my
Yeah, it was
goodness.
Barbara. She's just such a sweet person. Yeah,
Barbara,
really.
come be my friend.
Oh,
do you have any white pictures, Barbara?
Sometimes people send you really nice things. So you know what? Kelly doesn't want your stuff. Send it to me.
No. Yes, I don't mean to say that's terrible the way I sound, but no. I think it's.
Well, I know what you're saying. It might be something
think enough of you to that. Consider what you like enough. That is so lovely. And I don't want to come off like I sounded like an ingrate at all. I'm just saying, when you have a collection, sometimes you're very particular about what.
No, I understood what you were saying.
You want to add, right?
And I had a friend that had one of those. Do you remember those wooden angels that had the kind of the wire halos, I think, on them? I can't remember if they had a wire halo, but anyway, they were kind of wooden carved angels, and they had different people, like little kids, moms and dads, and blah blah blah. And I think she had one.
Oh, yes, I remember those.
And then everybody,
my mother-in-law liked those, and I'm sure she got tired of me giving them.
And then
to her.
everybody was like, "Oh, you like those?" So then when they would see them, that's what she would get. And she said, "I really don't like them, but everybody thinks I do." And then she kept getting them. Isn't that funny?
No, it is funny. Even there's a little bit off the collecting thing, but a girlfriend of mine, she had cats. I mean, not like a gazillion of them. She wasn't like a crazy cat lady, but she had like 2 or 3 cats. And then everything people
That's
would give her,
enough for people to think you like them.
Cats on note cards, and cat oven mitts, and cat wool beanie, and whatever. It just never ended. She was like, what's with that with the cats? Like, stop.
I know. And then if you get them, you kind of feel like you have to display them because so and so gave it to you. But then when you do, everyone's like, "Oh, you like all those cat things?"
Problem, right? You're the crazy cat lady. So we talked about stage 1 of collecting, and then stage 2, you're curating, and then there's the taking care of things. If it's something that is of value, obviously you want to take good care of it and know how to treat the items. Our things that we're using as examples are pretty easy. You just don't want to really drop them. Nothing too special, but you could be collecting something that has to be treated in a certain way. And I think it's also, even though I'm telling you I like to show my little pictures on moss because I think that has more oomph. Not everything should be displayed that way because, not everything is white and just kind of fades away a little bit. So you might want to consider rotating the things out. So
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Well, and it just, that way you get to enjoy it all. If your collection is too large to display it all at one time, I think it's a great idea because if, for example, it's dishes, then you get to enjoy. I like to do one set for a while and then I get bored with them and then I switch to another set that we get to enjoy. So I really like the idea of rotating. Or if it's even displayed, you're not going to get bored with it because you're going to see something new all the time. So you might even put a rotation schedule out there for your things. And I think that's a fun way to enjoy them.
Yeah, I think it takes away from a lot of things, especially if something is very intricate or very colorful, if there's too much going on. Here's something very practical. If you're collecting something that is of value, it's a really good idea to investigate as to what the value might be. I was just very surprised by something that I have had in a box for quite some time as to what the value of it is. It's not even something I really like. So I was doing research on it and poking around, and I was completely blown away by what this thing was really worth. It was just another example to me of the fact that you really need to research stuff that you come upon. Everybody can have an Antique Roadshow moment, especially if it's a collection.
That does bring up something. If you have a collection, I highly recommend you write, maybe it's not a formal inventory, but just some notes about it. and if it's worth something, because, somebody who's inheriting it might not know the difference between sterling silver and silver plate, or whether it's from this special
Right.
manufacturer. I would definitely make some notes for whoever inherits your things so that they know, oh, well, this maybe has some family history. Maybe it's not worth much money, but it has some special value to your family because of some role that it played. You want to write all that down so that future generations can enjoy it and understand what it was and go, oh, well, we need to keep this because this was Uncle Joe's da da da.
Right. And taking all of that one step further, it doesn't hurt to get an appraisal of something if you don't know. If you can't find it anywhere on the internet, or it doesn't seem like it's exactly the same thing, you can have an appraiser come. I don't even know if they would charge. It might be somebody who would come and appraise it, and maybe they would be in the market to purchase it from you.
No, wait a minute. Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
Do not do that.
Do not do what? Not have it appraised?
Do not. You need to do not get a free appraisal, or do not have an appraisal from somebody who might want to buy it, because
good point. Yeah.
They have a vested interest to say it's worth less than it is.
Right.
So if you want it appraised, I would pay an appraiser to appraise it.
That's a good idea.
Do not sell it to that person.
Right.
And just make it clear from the beginning, I am not selling this to you, because that you're going to get a better number than if the person then says, no, I would like to buy it from you. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that.
Shrewd, Anita. That was so smart of you. You're absolutely right. Yeah, they'd be like, "Is this really worth $10?" So yeah, or maybe do what you would do if you're getting a roof put on. Get 3 estimates. Get 3 appraisals.
Exactly.
And
now you can ask people, what would you pay? What would you like to buy? That if you're interested in selling it, and then talk to several people. But
right.
You may be getting 3 bum steers too.
You just never know. You got to be, you got to have all your wits about you. Bring Anita with you if you're going to an appraisal.
But even and on eBay, it really just kind of depends on who's looking at it that day.
Oh, yeah. I wonder about that whole thing with stuff that's really of value. And along these same lines, if it's something that you may not be displaying, or even if you are, take photos and keep them somewhere and scan in the bill of sale.
And any notes there, you can put your notes.
Right. So, just keep a file of that sort of thing. If you say you had a book collection, or you were gifted a book collection, and you're not really sure of the value, and God forbid there's some sort of flood or fire or something destroys those items, maybe they were of value, but you didn't know. But if you took the time to get the appraisals, you maybe had the photos, you had any kind of information. If you purchased on the bill of sale, then you could show to your insurance company, hey, this had some value. Certain items you may have to have a different sort of policy, like for jewelry or something like that. But, obviously you'd have to get down to the actual item and investigate what you need for each one. But so these are just generalized tips about not only how to collect, to do it the right way, but also to protect your investment or your inheritance of something that might be a valuable collection.
Well, Kelly, I don't know about you, but I've been enjoying all of the consults we've been having lately. We've been pretty jam-packed with them. Gosh. It's fun, though. I love working with all of our clients, and there's just so many different houses we see, so many different styles, and it's such a fun thing for me to do. I know it's fun for you, and we're getting such nice feedback from clients that are so appreciative. And the thing I love to hear is that people walked in and they just were so complimentary of the home, because that gives our clients such a positive reinforcement that really what they did was so beautiful.
Oh, yeah. It's such a delight to get to know people who have been listening for a long time. And we hear, oh, we feel like you're our friends. Well, you know what? You guys are. We're coming into your ears. We have obviously similar interests, and we feel like we're all friends. And it's so great to hear your voices too. And then you invite us into your home with the photos and descriptions, and we get to know you a little bit. It is just such a great experience for Anita and I on many, many levels. And as you mentioned, the fact that people are really getting a lot out of them is very, very satisfying. And we couldn't be happier to be able to help you, as we always say, create a beautiful home. But it's so true.
Oh, it definitely is. And it's fun. It's fun because, you're just really kind of looking, it's like a puzzle and then you're solving it.
Yeah, we definitely have the superpower of being able to look at a room and know what needs to be done, because oftentimes the consult clients just go, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I could just do this. Oh,
Yeah.
just moving this. This is great. And then we get feedback, either follow-up emails, or sometimes we even get after photos, which we really enjoy.
Oh, I
To
love those.
see the advice and the tips in practice is terrific. So if you would like to sign up for a consult, it's super easy to do. You just go to our website, decoratingtipsandtricks.com, and you click on consult, and that will just walk you through the very easy process, and we will be talking to you soon.
Yes. Okay. What's your crush?
Well, it's in the practical side today.
What?
It's a toothbrush.
Really? Okay.
You know, I'm manual. You know, I like to write
Oh,
things
boy.
down, and I like notebooks and planners. Well, I also don't like electric toothbrushes. I do like to brush my teeth a lot, but I like to do it manually. And I learned from a friend of mine who works at a refillable, sustainable little store in Santa Monica that the average plastic toothbrush stays in a landfill for, now I'm quoting my friend, I don't know, I didn't do any independent research, but for 750 years is the lifespan of that hard piece of plastic. Now, of course, if it's recycled, that's fine. But if they just make their way to a landfill, it's just not going to decompose there. And I thought, oh gosh.
No, that's plastic in general.
Yes. So but you think like just a little toothbrush, like, ooh, no, it lasts for a very long time.
Well, and they give them out to you. I'll look around and we've got 50 toothbrushes. I'm like, where do they all come from?
Oh, when you go to the dentist, you get the goodie bag.
Yeah, they give them to you all the time. And I have a Sonicare. I don't want a toothbrush, but there it is.
Well, you're going to have to reject the goodie bag next time.
I need to.
So anyway, the toothbrushes that I found are decomposable and recyclable and will on their own just fade away if they make their way to a landfill. You can buy a bunch of them at one time. They're really nice to use. They're bamboo.
I thought they might be. Yeah.
George Washington had wooden teeth. Well, I have a wooden toothbrush. So.
Yeah, I mean, bamboo, I think it's a much better choice. Well, and the plastic, that's, who knows what it's emitting in your mouth. You're probably getting microplastics and Lord knows what in there.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even go down that road. The other thing that we'll like about it is they are aesthetically pleasing in the bathroom. So what's your crush?
My crush is a short little lamp that we got for our bathroom here. When you move houses, the stuff that worked in your old house, some of it works, some of it doesn't. So we needed a new lamp because, you don't always want to turn on your overhead lights. And these in this particular bathroom are very bright. So I needed a lamp, but I needed one very short because there is a window above there. So this one is a very short lamp. It's got a little pull string, so it's easy to turn on and off. It is plugged in on Amazon, less than $40. And, it's kind of cute.
Oh, what's it made of?
Oh, it's just like it's like a brass stand. And then it's got, I think it's like a fabric shade. I can't remember what the shade is made of, but it's a very simple design. And I just wanted something to plug in. So I know the rechargeable batteries are nice, but sometimes I'm just get tired of having to charge things. So this one's just plugged in. So it's kind of nice. I don't have to fool with it. And I think it's LED. So the light bulb will probably last forever. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. And remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.